Joining us now for the interview is Susan Rice, ambassador to the UN and then national security advisor in the Obama administration. She's the author of Tough Love, My Story of the Things Worth Fighting For. Ambassador Rice, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate the time tonight.
Good to be with you, Rachel.
There's been a bunch of reporting over a period of years that the U.S. had previously assessed that it could be more dangerous to kill Qasem Soleimani, the head of the Quds Force in Iran, than to allow him to live, even when U.S. forces did potentially have a shot at him. I just wanted to ask, there's a lot of discussion about that reporting now that this airstrike has happened and that Soleimani is dead. What can you tell us in a non-classified setting here about that reporting, whether it's accurate, and is there any reason that we should think that that calculation somehow changed before this airstrike?
Well, to my knowledge, Rachel, and certainly while I was national security advisor, the Obama administration was not presented with an opportunity by our intelligence community or by the U.S. military to strike Qasem Soleimani. Had we been presented with such an opportunity, what we would have done is weighed very carefully and very deliberately the risks versus the potential rewards. We would have assessed all of the ways in which this could enhance our security and degrade our security. And I think, judging from what I know and from what we're likely to see, I think that there's real reason to believe that in all likelihood, the benefits will be outweighed by the risks. And we also would have taken all sorts of time and effort to prepare to ensure that our personnel, diplomatic and military in the region, were maximally protected against the likelihood of Iranian retaliation. The reason why it's reasonable to calculate that the risk could exceed the rewards is for all of the litany of examples you gave and Richard Engel outlined, the ways in which Iran has the capacity to retaliate in very significant ways. They can retaliate, as you mentioned, in Iraq without any restraint, throughout the broader Levant region, Syria, Lebanon, potentially against Israel, all throughout the Gulf, whereas your graphic illustrated, we have tens of thousands of American troops, as well as diplomats, commercial facilities, civilian installations. So, and then, of course, as you suggested at the outset, there's the wider risk that beyond the Middle East, in Europe, in Latin America and Africa, where Iran's proxy, Hezbollah, has a major presence, and even in the United States, there's the potential that they could attack targets of significance, hard and soft, military, diplomatic, and civilian. So if, in fact, the administration can be believed that there was indeed strong intelligence of an imminent threat against the United States being carried out by Soleimani and related militia, then the question becomes, one, were there more than one way to address that threat? Was the only way to deal with it to kill Soleimani, who certainly, given his history and track record, deserves his just rewards? But the question is, does that serve our interest? Does that make us more secure? And I'm dubious about that. And frankly, the fact that we have taken Soleimani off the field doesn't mean that the Iranians have lost their capacity to attack us. In fact, we can be certain that they are motivated now to retaliate in far greater scale than they may have been planning, if that's in fact the case.
Ambassador Rice, if you didn't mind holding with us just for another moment, I'd like to ask you, you have to take a quick break, but I'd like to ask you about the kinds of actions that the U.S. government could be taking now to try to mitigate the risk that you're describing, to take the sort of protective action that we might reasonably take in this situation, if you can stick with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.